Okay. So can you tell this, anybody, sprint planning meeting and sprint retrospection meeting difference? So any idea?
Sprint planning meeting where the user stories are defined and we need to provide our user story points. Two tasks will be assigned. And sprint retrospective means after the completion at the end of the sprint, or else like at the end of the PI planning,
Mm.
what needs to be, what I have done in the past, what needs to be improved, and everything will be discussed in the sprint retrospective.
Okay. Yeah. So are you clear? And so what Venkatesh explained? Sprint planning meeting, what will happen? It's a beginning day of the sprint. The sprint planning meeting will happen. In that sprint planning meeting, the user stories will be picked up from the product backlog and assigned to the Scrum team. And they will discuss on the each user story and given the story points for each user story. These are the points, if you can explain, that's so good. Okay. Next, retrospection meeting is at the end of the sprint. Last day of the sprint, all meetings are over. Finally, retrospection meeting will happen. Retro means what? Thinking. That just analyzing what happened previously and what went well, what went wrong, or any improvement required to make the delivery very quickly and effectively. And that's what they're going to write the comments. In the retro board will be there. That's a retrospection meeting means. Is this clear? Any questions here? And again, I'm repeating roles of a Scrum Master. So if you have questions, you need to talk, and otherwise it's not going to help you out. Okay, so one of the popular interview question, the Scrum Master is the leader or supervisor of the Scrum team. The main job of the Scrum Master is to ensure that team follows the Agile values and principles, and you are working on the task without any default. So no excuses, nothing. So that's the Scrum Master. Make sure he will monitor each and every team member. Every day, daily Scrum process, Scrum meetings, he will keep on asking each person. So what he will do? To eliminate all the obstacles that could hamper the productivity of the Scrum team. That means if you have any problems, he will be the first person to help you to continue your task successfully. Any information you need or any meetings you required, he will arrange immediately and he will jump on, he will call different team members also, whatever the help you need. So he is always ready to help. Second point, to establish a productive and collaborative work environment for the Scrum team. So that's what I told you, right? Collaborative means different teams you want to interact. He will bring other team members also to the meeting and he will give you as much information you require. To protect the team from the interruptions and distractions of the outside world. So you will keep on watching and whatever you need and interactions, any interruptions or distractions, make sure you are following the process. He will help you to so make sure you are in the right track. So to maintain a good relationship between the team, clients, and all other stakeholders, so he will do that good rapport between all the stakeholders of the project. To supervise the operations of the Scrum team and motivating them as and when required. So that's the Scrum Master roles and responsibilities. Any questions? What is the ideal duration of the sprint?
2 to 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
Or 2 weeks. Generally, 2 weeks is the ideal time. Then 2 to 3 weeks also some companies will follow, but mostly
2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's ideal sprint. So this is another interview question. So don't hesitate to tell all these points. Everything is an interview question here. That's why I'm so specifying them. Make sure you clearly note down all this and answer properly in the interview. Okay. What is a zero sprint in Agile? So in Agile methodology, zero sprint refers to the first step that comes before the first sprint. What is that? PI planning, right?
Okay.
So zero sprint means that's what. So you don't have any task, but the PI planning, PI iteration, plan iteration will happen. All the meetings, so many, so you have to sit a number of hours in that
Same.
plan iteration. Because so many teams has to talk, right? It will take 3-4 hours, even 4-5 hours also.
2 days.
In I think 2-3 days will be there. This plan iteration, okay. Generally 2-3 days will be there. So that's the before first sprint. So that step is called zero sprint.
Nothing but definition of before the definition of ready, right?
Not definition of ready. Even you don't have the definition of ready. Definition of ready is once your sprint starts.
Okay.
This is the
Just-
first sprint before only.
Okay.
Before sprint planning itself, first sprint it will start, right? Our plan iteration. That's a plan iteration
PA.
period. PA during PA period. That's a zero sprint means. So zero sprint would include a host of activities that are to be completed before starting a project, including setting up the development environment, preparing a backlog, and other such tasks that are usually done before beginning the actual development process. All these things will be done before the starting of your sprint. So basically, preparing a product backlog means who will do that? Product owner, right? He has to write them first. So that all these preparations is called zero sprint. So preparing the environments and preparing the product backlogs, all this task comes under zero sprint. Okay. So I already told this Agile velocity is important. Okay, I want to talk sprint burn down metric. I think one more is there. Burn up. The one more place is we'll cover that. Okay. What is product backlog refinement? This is another interview question. So I faced this question. What is product backlog refinement? So backlog grooming. Backlog grooming is grooming means what? So what is meant by grooming?
Well, development team, product owner, and Scrum Master, and everyone in the team sits together and decide the
Just refining, right? Grooming is nothing but improving. Right?
and
So backlog grooming is in Agile process a regular event whenever the development team and product owner review the user stories, whichever any user story is missing some details or a documentation, anything such as missing the points in the user story will be included by discussing with the different team members. They will improve. That's a product backlog refinement, refining the user story, adding the more details. So that is a product backlog refinement. The goal is to ensure the backlog items are clear, concise, and prioritized for upcoming sprints. So product backlog means that is not assigned to you. It is there in the product backlog repository. And for upcoming sprint, they are going to take up. You're going to take up in the next sprint, not in the current sprint. Before taking up itself, product owner will set up a meeting. Okay, these are the tasks you are going to take up in the next sprint. And okay, is this requirements are clear? Or do you need any more information? So they will add all the points in that every user story. So the team can clarify requirements, adjust estimates, reorder items to reflect the current status of the project. So that's what this backlog grooming helps to refine the each product backlog item, which is clearly understandable to all the team members and improve the overall development process. That's a product backlog refining means. So meaning itself, it is very clear. Refine. Refine means what? Improve. Give more details. Get clarity. Be clear. That's what this product backlog refinement. Are we clear? Any questions here? Hmm?
No.
Pin of silence. What happened? Is it clear or any questions on this?
No clear.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. These are all interview questions. That's why I cannot give a guarantee. So which question they are going to ask you? That's why we are faced all these questions. That's why we list out it here.
Okay.
So what is the difference between Agile and Scrum? Agile is the parent, right? Scrum is a type of Agile. At least you can tell one point also good enough. You don't need much here. Okay, but let's deep dive into this. What is there? Okay, so Agile and Scrum have their fair share of similar differences. Okay. First, Scrum is a part of Agile methodology. Just now we discussed at this point. Both of them promote the completion of the project incrementally in small fragments. Both methodologies are iterative in nature. Okay, so this is the one point, and this is the other point you can add. So the main difference between Agile and Scrum is the former has a broader spectrum, while the Agile methodology is used for project management. Scrum is deal for projects where the requirements change rapidly. So, yeah, so 1 or 2 points enough. You don't need to worry. Just read 1 or 2 points. Okay, not more than that. You don't need to keep reading all those. Okay, continuous testing, continuous feedback you will get from the client, simple and clean code, because you're taking a small portion and developing that, testing that, and shipping it. So that's a very everything continuously keep doing. So that's the Agile principles, you can tell that. Okay, next, these are not important. Let's move on to the very important one I want to show you here. We discussed already Agile velocity. What is Scrum of Scrums? This is I faced this question in the TCS. TCS or Infosys. What is the Scrum of Scrums? So you have different Scrum teams, right?
Yeah.
So the meaning itself is Scrum of Scrums. So the term Scrum of Scrums is used when there are multiple teams involved in a project. So one project can have multiple Scrum teams. So it is going to refer to the scaling of the daily Scrum meeting. So daily Scrum meeting, every team has, every Scrum team has. So each team is responsible for conducting, leading its a separate Scrum meeting. That's what I told you. We did that. So to maintain coordination and communication among all other teams, a separate meeting must be conducted wherein all the teams participate. So that is known as the Scrum of Scrums. So other teams also will participate in other stand-up meeting, one more. That is called Scrum of Scrums. So your Scrum stand-up meeting is regular. But there are, for example, yesterday I told you 5 Scrum teams, right? All 5 Scrums participate in one meeting that is called Scrum of Scrum meeting. Clear? So in the meeting, one team leader from every team will represent there. Not everybody, one maybe your Scrum Master only will go there. And the main idea behind this is to encourage Agile teams to collaborate and coordinate their work each other. That's the main purpose of Scrum of Scrums. Okay, this is the one of the pair programming, one type of Agile methodology I want to show you. Okay, here. So this is the very important. So what is burn down and burn up charts we didn't discuss, right? Let's discuss. To track the progress of an ongoing project, these charts are used. Why you will use this burn down, burn up? To track the progress of the project, these burn down, burn up charts are used. Burn up chart indicates that the work that has been completed, okay, how much work you have completed, that will be so indicated in the burn up chart. Burn down chart shows the amount of remaining work is pending in the project. Completed one you will show in one graph, that is called burn up chart. Okay, what is remaining amount of time pending to complete the project? That is called burn down chart. Are we clear on this? The completed one you will show in the chart. That is burn up chart. The completed number of hours. That will be recorded by Scrum Master. To complete the task, what is the remaining amount of time? Every day you will record. That is called burn down chart. Okay, so these are the two terminologies, very important. Please make sure understand this. Once you understand, you don't need much to read them, okay, every time. So what is Kanban? Kanban and Agile boards, these are the boards, Kanban board and Agile board. And so basically it is used to maintain the project in a card-based board. It will be there. Each user story will be treated as a one card, and that cards you can move here and there in the Kanban board. So that you can track the each user story status and each person tasks they will manage in the Kanban board, and same Agile board also you will do that. So that's the Kanban board is a tool which helps the team to keep a close eye on the work. So basically you will measure the team progress. So that's the Kanban board. Kanban board aids in writing the whole scenario of the project at a single place. That means in one dashboard, you can see all the tasks for each sprint. So then you can see the workflow also. Workflow means first definition of ready, then in progress, deploy, review, testing, then definition of done and close. So this workflow you can see in the Kanban board. So for each user story, that's the Kanban board means. Okay, I want to tell lean methodology, scrum methodology, pair programming, extreme programming. These are all I want to tell you different agile methodologies. So what is the different agile methodologies? So these are the different agile methods. For one we learned scrum process, right? That's the only one we learned. There are other agile methodologies. So one is crystal methodology, dynamic software development methodology, feature-driven development methodology, lean software development methodology, and extreme programming methodology. I don't think so. I haven't used any of these things. Only Scrum process we used till now. Okay. Feature-driven also one I used. But remaining things you are not going to use anywhere. But mostly Scrum process only will use till now also. Many companies use Scrum process only. Some companies will follow other, but it's a same process. Okay. So extreme programming and Scrum. So that's okay. These are the types, you just know them. Okay. Crystal, dynamic software development methodology, feature-driven development, lean software development, extreme programming, and Scrum process. And what else? That's enough. Yeah, most important. This agile methodology is different than traditional waterfall methodology. So the differences we'll learn in the next class. Okay, here we have key differences between waterfall and agile. This is the one of the famous interview question. So, and I'll explain in the next class this one. Okay. Yeah. So, any questions before closing? So, and the task you have to regularly do them. I don't need to tell